Hey everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 291. I'm your host Rico, here with my co-host
Dayne Cody.
Dayne Cody, and I get together once a week, talk about video games, TV, movies, and or whatever the hell we like. Welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for downloading if you're listening on podcasts, services
Around the globe,
the world, the entire universe. Number one podcast, as voted by, I don't know.
Well,
somebody.
me obviously.
Dayne and Rico. That's it. Your authorities, definitive podcast authorities. Welcome everybody. If you've never been here before, we usually start the show with our BS section, which we are ankle deep in. You know, because we haven't been in it that long, so it's like not quite up to our knees. Because you needed an explanation. And we get into our what you've been playing section, where Dayne and I have been playing all the hottest new video games, by which, looking at the outline, none.
Hey, I do what I want.
I do what I want. Mom! I don't know if I can do it. I can't really do a good Cartman. Then we get
trying to do
our news section.
Right, that was a terrible one.
Public service announcements, and our free for all section. Do I have any more BS? No. Do you, Dayne?
I'm trying to think of what I got up to on the weekend.
I worked.
You?
Yeah.
That's not what weekends are for at all.
No, it was great. It was fun. I loved it. I love working weekends and having one day off.
Ugh.
Because I don't feel like I've almost worked 2 weeks straight now.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that at all. No, it was pretty chill.
Here, let me guess. You stayed at home. You ordered takeout, and you didn't go anywhere.
I mean, I did go out for groceries.
Oh, okay. We get them delivered, so.
Well, look at you, Mister. I'm a 1%er, so I get my my groceries.
No,
delivered.
I don't want to go to the fucking grocery
I don't
store.
even
That's
have
why.
to go to the supermarket.
It's $3.
To be.
It's $3 for delivery.
And then you get a tip. And is it actually $3?
You don't have to tip. There's no tip option.
Well, I'm sure you don't, because you're a dick.
Are you supposed
We were
to?
just talking about this. How do you stay rich? How do you get rich? By being an asshole.
Are you what? Are you supposed to tip the? He like runs away after he puts the bags at your front door.
I'm sure if you had a 20 in your hand, he would gladly walk over and take that shit too.
What if I stuck it on my forehead?
I'm sure he'd probably still take it.
My belt line.
I mean, sure. I'm thinking if it was me and I was him, I'd still take it.
I did not. No, the way they act, it seems like they don't even want a tip.
I mean, I'm sure they want a tip.
Just the tip?
I mean, they're still getting paid, but
maybe my wife puts a tip on the order. I don't know. Because I don't do the ordering, so maybe she does, and I just don't know this.
Sounds like this is,
I know we tip the Instacart guy.
Oh, sure. See?
But that's on the site, like when you check out, like when we order Costco groceries. Because nobody wants to go to fucking Costco.
Right. No, that's actually very true. I never want to go to Costco. It's a horrible nightmare.
Yeah.
The parking lot. It's always the parking lot. It's the worst. It's like the worst parking lot. There's way too many cars. Like
But it's also the best parking lot because they have giant parking spots, unlike every other fucking mall on the planet, which has like spots that aren't even big enough for one car.
So, the parking lot for the one near us used to be awesome. It was so great.
Did they reline it and make it smaller?
No, they added a fucking gas bar and took up like almost half the parking lot with this stupid gas bar now. And now there's always 1,000,001 cars lined up outside of this stupid gas bar.
Is it Is it a Yuri gas bar?
It's upside down and backwards. Yeah, I hate it, and people are like, oh man, but the gas is so cheap. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit in a line for 20 minutes waiting for cheap gas. I'll spend more on the fuel to not wait in a stupid line. I hate it so much. Anyways.
Yeah, that's not a
Moving
problem.
on.
I don't have that problem.
But the point is since they put that in,
It's worse.
the
It's a
parking
gong
lot
show.
is a fucking nightmare
I could see
now.
in Vancouver it being a gong show.
Yeah. So anyways.
Nice. Yeah, so we did nothing. Surprise.
Yeah.
Probably like everyone else on the planet. Because, yeah. Welcome to 2021. 2020 part 2.
Oh.
Actually, no. It's a lot better so far. It's not as depressing and insane when you... well, it's a little depressing, but at least there's no orange monkey down in the U.S. doing weird stuff. That's one positive.
Right now.
Moving along, Dane. Shall we get into some housekeeping and get the show started proper? Because no one cares about our Costco adventures, non-adventures, my grocery deliveries, or whatever nonsense we're talking about. We want to talk about video games. But before we do that, you should join our Discord server, Geekoholics.com/Discord. If you do not, it's what all the cool kids are using to chat online, share cool gifs, do voice chats, private chats, yeah. Mostly talk about video games in a forum-like environment. It's good times. Join it. Geekoholics.com/Discord. That's the heart of our community. So we'd appreciate you came by and said hi. Don't be afraid. Dane doesn't bite. I might, but not Dane.
I gum a little sometimes.
Me take out your dentures.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
We record the show every week in podcast form, but we also stream live on Twitch every Wednesday around 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, plus or minus, depending on real life. You can check us out, like I said, on twitch.tv/Geekoholics. But of course, we're first and foremost a podcast, so we try to ignore the chat. Sometimes I get distracted by it, but we try to keep it professional as best we can. And of course, with that being said, that's it for housekeeping. Oh, no, I forgot something. Our Epic creator code. If you download games on Epic Game Store on
play
PC,
play
Fortnite, or play Rocket League, you can use our creator code Geekoholics to support the show. So we appreciate that. And I guess you can also support us through a Twitch sub. If you have Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Gaming. Twitch Gaming gives you 1 free sub a month. You could use that free sub to sub to our show on Twitch, which helps support the show.
Woohoo.
Now we can get into what you've been playing.
Finally.
Dane? What you been playing?
Dude, I've been playing Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Yeah.
I'm trying to suck it up, stop being a scaredy cat. Although it kind of bit me in the ass. Funny story, I played a whole bunch of this over the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday.
Where are you playing it?
Playing it on PC.
Did you buy it, or it was a part of Game Pass or something?
I got that when it came out for free. When I
bought
my last video card.
60 years ago, because that's when this game came out, right?
What does it come out in? 2018?
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's 2018.
You bought more video cards than I have.
Maybe. Anyways.
Nope, that's true. It's a true fact.
I mean, I probably have over the course of my life. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
2019? No, that's not right.
Oh no, that's right. Because I built my computer in 2018, and then it came out in what was it, January or February?
Yeah, January 2019. That's what Wikipedia says.
2 years ago already. Wow, time flies when you're having fun, ladies and gentlemen.
I played it on Xbox.
So yeah, so I had it. It was still installed. I played the first couple hours of it, and then I chickened out. It was very good, but I was playing it with headphones on. Look,
actually, the sewers were pretty bad. Yeah, getting chased by freaking.
I won't lie, man. The fucking Mr. X shit.
Is it Mr. X? I always call him Nemesis or Titan or whatever.
The Tyrant is what they call him in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know how he became Mr. X, but he's the Tyrant in the game. No, Nemesis is in 3. But that shit's stressful, man. When he shows up and he's chasing you around, it's because like I won't lie, back in the day on the PlayStation 1 when this game came out, I don't think I ever made it that far to see him.
Really?
Because no, I mean like I rented the game with my brother. We played a bunch of it, got scared and played something else. And like I don't know, like I said, we got a few hours in. I don't think we saw him because I don't remember him, especially not chasing my ass around.
Maybe you
And
just
like
blocked it out because it was like such a traumatic memory.
maybe no, that's something I'd remember. But yeah, shit, man. Like it gets real. My anxiety got like it gets because he can fuck you up pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then of course you've got zombies and like all this other shit like trying to kill you, and then on top of that you got this guy chasing you, and it's like, yeah. That said, I kind of screwed myself because I played a whole bunch of it, and I thought I stopped early enough on Sunday, and I like watched some TV, and I hung out with my wife, and this and that and the other thing. I read some comic books before I went to sleep, and then I went to bed, and I fucking laid there, and like, okay, so I wasn't having nightmares, but I was like dreaming about it,
You're
and it was like
restless.
exactly that's the thing. It was like it was that anxiety inducing, super stressful. I'm being chased. I'm dealing with all this shit, and like I said, it wasn't necessarily like a nightmare. It wasn't like I woke up and I was like, oh my god, but it was just like it was the furthest thing from fucking sleeping and being like rested. So at one point I woke up in the middle of the night. I was like laying there and I was actively attempting to think about other things because I didn't want to think about that, which of course my brain was like wide awake at this point, trying actively to think about other shit, which meant I wasn't sleeping. So needless to say, like I got like zero sleep because of it on Sunday night, which meant like Monday morning I was just fucking wrecked. It was rough.
I had a zero sleep Sunday night as well. I woke up at like 4 in the morning and couldn't go back to bed.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was just like, I was just like, I don't know. I wasn't feeling very good.
Right.
And then went to the washroom, got a drink, and I'm like, I'm fucking wide awake. And like, now do I just roll with it and just stay awake, or do I try and go back to bed? And I'm like, no, if I go back to bed, then the alarm's going to kick in at 7, and then I'm just going to be even more exhausted because I will not actually fall back to sleep in time. So I'm like,
okay.
Anyway, I stayed up and played Assassin's Creed for like 3 hours before work.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I was done the next day. But
So,
you want to hear my funny Resident Evil story?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to add something quick? You were going to say something?
No, go ahead.
I got scared out playing Resident Evil by my fucking sister, and I think it was during Resident Evil 2, the original, when we were at, what was that? Yeah, I think that was it at home. I was playing it late night in our games room, and then I finished, and it wasn't quite the couldn't sleep thing, but when I went to bed, like turn off the lights, leave the room, down the hallway is my room on the right, and to the left was a hallway that went down to my sister's room. And this is when she was like, Jesus, I don't even know how old she would have been. She would have been under 10, I believe. And she's just standing in the hallway. And I literally like had a freaking heart attack. Like this figure standing in the hallway in the complete dark. I can't remember if I screamed or if I just ran to my room, but I like literally almost died. And then it's like, I think like days later, she's like, yeah, I just heard you playing games and was coming, but then I guess you've just finished. Like she was coming over to the room.
Oh,
but then she just stopped because she was so young. So I don't know if she was trying to sneak in because like she shouldn't have been up too at the same time. So I was like, oh my god,
yeah.
Almost died.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So no, I played a whole bunch of that.
It's a good game, man. It's an awesome remake.
Yeah, it's man, the map, I gotta say, they do probably the best map in a game, and I don't know how more games have not like swiped that map. Like it's cool because as you go, you find the map pieces, which then pulls the whole map up. But as you go, it also fills in the map as as you explore. But the rooms that are red say that there's something that you haven't picked up there, or there's still something in that room that you need
Haven't.
to do
Yeah,
or
like little
have to get.
reminders.
And if you come across something and you don't pick it up, there'll be a little icon that will stay there, so you can like look at your map and be like, oh, okay, well, I didn't pick up the bullets in that room, or I didn't pick up the green herb in that room, or whatever. And if they're blue, it means that there's nothing else there. You've done everything you can. You're all good. And then it also gives you red doors for those that shit's locked, or blue doors for you can go through that doorway. And then there's like the blue and white door where it's like it shows like across the doorway, and that means like you need to do something to open that door. And then of course, like for the main areas with the specific keys, it shows you on your map like, hey, you need a spade key, or hey, you need a diamond key, or hey, you need a heart key. And that shit stays there, and it's so fucking good. And I just wish more and more games would ilk that shit, because it's so helpful. Like, when you finally get that key and you're like, oh shit, where was that stupid room I needed to go back to? And you pull up your map and you're like, oh, it's right there. Okay, cool. And you go over to it. Oh, so brilliant.
Yeah, it's nice for not wasting your time going in circles, like going to every room until you actually hit the room you need to go back to, because you didn't mentally write it down.
Same thing with items. Holy shit. You pick up a key. You use the key. There's a little check beside the key. You don't fucking need that shit anymore. Get that shit out of your inbox.
Yeah.
Get it out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, that item that you picked up that you're like holding on to because you're like, I don't know, maybe I need this again. No, you don't.
You're never going to use this again.
Box.
Throw it away, you fucking hoarder.
Exactly, because they fucking know video games. We all do that shit. No, it's so good. I generally hate games with inventory management systems, because like I feel like you spend half the time running around like just, oh, do I need to pick that up, or I need to unload some shit and
you'll
stuff.
Be like me, who doesn't just can't use anything or get rid of anything, and then it's just you have like a million items.
I mean, yeah, that kind of how it happens with me anyways. Like, oh, you got the 50 caliber handgun. You're like, sweet. But then
I can't use those bullets. Are you fucking crazy?
I might need those for a boss.
I might need those. Oh, it's the end of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I might need those later. And, or you're saving them for a boss. And
that's the thing with this game. Depending on the difficulty, the ammo actually is more scarce depending on what difficulty you're playing.
I won't lie. I'm playing it on easy. I want to get through the story. I also appreciate that, unlike the original game, I don't have to find fucking ribbons for the typewriter to allow me to save. I can just walk by a typewriter and fucking save that shit. That is like probably the biggest thing that I appreciate about that game.
Yeah.
Because like, man, having to find a typewriter like ink so that you can actually save your game.
Yeah, that was pretty annoying.
That was shitty in the original,
And didn't it take a slot of your inventory too?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
You had to make sure that you had one on you, otherwise you couldn't save.
So many quality of life improvements.
Yeah, the game looks gorgeous. It runs beautifully on my system and stuff. Everything's like maxed out. It's beautiful. I didn't realize like there's Dolby Atmos in that game. And I've got that shit turned on, and that was real helpful for the Mr. X shit, because I could actually hear when
when he's above you, or
it was so nice. Like
actually,
that was a game changer, man.
So we're just gonna veer off track here for a second for Dayne's IT and Tech Tips.
Okay.
Because you have the same headset as me.
Yep.
I couldn't figure out because I did a clean install on my machine upstairs. I couldn't figure out where's the shit to download for the DTS for the headset? Like,
so it's funny. With this headset, with the SteelSeries, there's two ways you can go about it. You can go to like just in the drivers, and you can just enable it. So when you install the like SteelSeries engine 3,
I've installed the SteelSeries engine.
Yep. It's in the drivers, so you can just enable DTS.
So you have to go into the drivers and enable it?
You can do it there, Or if you go to the store, like if you open the Microsoft store and you search for, what is it, the DTS Headphone X.
I swear I searched for it and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, there's a Okay, sorry, it's DTS Sound Unbound.
Did they update it? App. So will it recognize that you have that headset and give you the allowance?
Yes.
Okay. So I gotta install that. So
you don't though.
No,
I've done tests. It's like it doesn't. It seems like they both do the same thing.
Because right now, when I go to the sound icon in the bottom corner where you like choose the spatial sound to go from like Sonic to DTS, DTS doesn't appear there right now.
No. I know. It's weird, but because even though it's not there, it's just enabled in the drivers. So it's one of those things where like if you want it to show up there, then you
have to download the app.
Yeah, and then you just disable it in the drivers. But the stupid thing is that when you disable it in the drivers, then you lose a few of the things in the drivers. So it's kind of like a little bit of.
That's just weird. Okay. We'll play with that next.
When I click on that, I've got Windows Sonic, Dolby Atmos, and DTS Headphone X. I've got all three of them. And
how did you get Atmos?
Another headset that I bought had.
Oh yeah, because you can just buy Atmos on Windows, right?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like you could buy the DTS Sound Unbound as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't want to buy it.
No, for me, it recognized that I had a SteelSeries headset and it just activated. I was like, cool.
Yeah. So Resident Evil 2 Remake, it's real good.
Yeah. So I just got to the sewers.
Yeah, shit gets a little real there. That's where I feel like it got a little scary, was in the sewers.
Yeah, there was. If memory serves, I want to say there's like a big ass like fucking mutant alligator thing down there that I gotta like run away from.
Yeah,
I just got to the sewers and essentially saved. So I was like talking to, was it Alma or whatever her name is?
Ada.
Ada, yeah, that's the one.
There's some scary ass monsters in the fucking.
And so we went down in there, and that's where I ended. So I don't know, is that like halfway, 3/4 of the way? I'm not sure. Because like you go into the sewers, and then like don't you end up in the lab? I want to say, and like the lab's the end of the game, right? I think. So.
For the chat, I'm drinking straight vodka. We've ascended to that. Just like, no, I'm drinking water. Dayne, what are you drinking? People were wondering.
I've got a blueberry lemonade, vodka, and sparkling water.
We got some upsetness in the chat right now going on about scalpers. I don't know what's going on over there because I'm not reading it, but I see Darth is upset.
Way to not pay attention to the chat there.
I played Donut County off of your recommendation last week with my daughter.
Fucking squirrel. I asked you like a bunch of questions. You look at the chat, totally don't even like answer any of them, and then roll into Donut County.
Yeah, that's me.
Let's do everything you want to do.
I'm trying to keep it on track. My brain is all over the place, okay? I'm sorry. Do you want to?
No, I'm done. That's it.
Do you want to ask me those questions again? I'm sorry,
no.
Dayne. I was reading the chat because I saw.
Friend. We're moving on. Donut County. Let's do this.
I saw some upsetness, and then I just got
Donut County.
I got distracted.
Yeah, I'm gonna just pretend I don't care about your story now.
Well, I saw all caps. It's not really a story. I just played Donut County because you played it last week.
What'd you think? Did you like it?
It was cute.
Yeah, it's not long, right?
I beat it. I beat it in one setting.
Yeah, same.
It was a little hard for my daughter to play.
Really?
Yeah. Well, the Xbox controller is much bigger than I bought her one of the small Switch controllers.
Right.
So, yeah, she had a hard time controlling it because she would like go past the stuff. Like she would like can go in the right direction, but she just didn't quite have the.
And like I played it on PC with a mouse, so it was very precise.
Oh
right?
Yeah, that might have been a little different. So we were playing on Xbox.
On a tablet, man. There you go. You should have loaded it up on Game Pass on your tablet and fucking.
That's a brilliant idea. I could try that again.
Controls.
But she liked watching it. She enjoyed telling me what to suck up in the holes.
I imagine the like cutscenes in between, she might not
Oh,
care about that.
she's like, just at first I was reading them and doing fun voices, but then she's like, skip.
It's probably a little bit over her head.
Well, there's also no skip button. It is a kind of funny story though.
I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Fucking
it's
BK.
Super social commentary about like shit that's going on, and like, oh, it's hilarious. Like, you could totally tell it's like satire. And
yeah, it was
I love
great.
it. Yeah,
Trash King, BK. I like his quadcopter. So stupid.
But what'd you do to my? Like, he just, oh yeah.
But why did you have to break the quadcopter?
I know.
So yeah, that was a quick, hour and a bit, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. It wasn't that long.
No, it's not very long.
And then, I guess, should I do this for free for all? I'll talk about it now. It's kind of free for all. It's kind of what you've been playing. It's not really what you've been playing. It's what you've been hunting down and finding.
Oh, is this yeah, we'll talk about that shit later.
Okay. Well,
that's not what you've been playing. You
no,
been playing
I played some Dreamcast.
Okay.
It goes together with my other story because it's all about basement exploring and finding shit in my storage room.
Fine.
I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it free for all. I'm going to talk about Dreamcast. So when I was digging through all my crates, I found my Dreamcast. And I'm like, I wonder if this freaking thing still works.
Sure.
My old Xbox worked. My PS2 works. And I'm like, this thing's been in a box for I don't know. I haven't seen this thing for maybe 15 years. Wow. It hasn't been hooked up in a long time.
Sure.
So I was like, maybe this thing's just dead. And it's like, I pull it all out, and it's kind of neat because I got like a blue, see-through one. And
okay.
It's kind of neat. I bought it at an import shop in LA, my first E3. So
yeah,
kind of I don't know if I can get rid of this because this actually has some more more memories associated with it.
Like half translucent blue
it's translucent blue, but it's like an official lid from Japan, because you could buy them in Japan and replace them. So but I have the blue controller, and then I have the see-through blue VMU, and then I got the rumble pack and all this stuff.
Man, that was sure a look back in freaking
all this stuff
2001 or 1999. Jeez, that was such a look.
All this stuff stuffed in the box, all the accessories and stuff.
Yeah.
But I will say, the Dreamcast controller is fucking terrible. It's a terrible controller.
I really like the feel of it.
No,
it feels good in my hands.
Just to hold it,
having one analog
but
stick
the analog's not in the right spot, and then the D-pad's kind of low, and the buttons are a little mushy. The triggers are just fucking bad. It's this is a shitty controller.
You have to remember though, where we were back then. We've been, having pretty much the best controllers, that we've ever had.
Oh yeah, couple of years. Obviously, it's hard to compare.
Think about what else you had at the time. You had an N64 controller, which was I don't care what anybody says, that thing was fucking trash. You had the Dream, you didn't get the GameCube.
I can't do an N64
yet.
controller with my hand. What am I trying to do?
I don't know what the hell you're trying to do.
I was trying to do the 3 claw. Oh, there we go. There's an N64 controller for you. What the hell is that?
But that analog stick is complete and utter trash on the N64 controller.
Actually, I like the N64 one.
Yeah, sure. You're nostalgia for it. You like it.
I liked how it was kind of gated with the the directions. It wasn't a perfect circle. It kind of had little notches.
Yeah. Sure. And then you use it for a year, and then the stupid
or when you go this for when you're playing Mario Party or whatever, and then you got this giant welt in the middle of your hand.
Yeah, there's that too. But no, so the thing is compared to the controllers that came before, it was way nicer.
It was it was whoa, triggers and analog.
I want to say it's that it's the transition controller, right? It's
before they quite figured it out.
Right. And
they were almost there.
Yeah, then it got a second D-pad or a second analog stick, and
it's kind of neat. I had a Saturn controller in the box too.
Yeah.
Well, What was I playing? I was playing some Street Fighter Alpha 3.
6-button or 3-button?
6-button Saturn controller.
Yeah, okay.
With the color. I got the Japanese one. It looks cool.
Just making sure.
I remember importing that back in the day. But I was playing some of the classic like Capcom fighting games on it. But
sweet.
I didn't realize that the Dreamcast had a scene, if you know what I mean. And I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Capcom, please don't sue me. But it was like modded. I injected my own soundtrack into it. I forgot that I did this. This is how much of a fucking nerd I was. Like I inserted my own like character menu selection screen. I replaced the bad like gonna take you for a ride. You know that annoying fucking song it had in there. They would sing.
It's a pretty good song.
Well, anyway. And like all the stages were like different music. I had like all kinds of like 90s rap music as the soundtrack of my Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember doing this. I remember getting the app to like inject the MP3s into the file and then re-burning the CD. And I'm like, I had way too much time on my hands, clearly.
The GD-ROM.
Yeah, the GD-ROM. The Microsoft system that was like the one that you could just play burnt games on with like no hacking whatsoever.
Copy protection. Like
there was copy protection, but it was not physical copy protection. It was all in software, and they figured out how to beat that pretty easily. It's unfortunate. The Dreamcast was a good system. I like the Dreamcast.
I love the Dreamcast. I honestly have like some of my fondest memories are with the Dreamcast.
You say the Dreamcast is kind of like Xbox version 1, sorta.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, kind of.
It was Microsoft's foray into the industry, kind of.
Yeah.
I guess with the software shit.
With the OS and stuff. So
I was doing that in my crates. I got it sitting over there. I don't know if I don't know what I'm going to do with that thing. I have no games for it. Well, I have games for it, if you know what I mean. But I don't have any. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. You have a big box of games for it.
But it's like I'm never going to play it. So it's like, should I just keep it? But they're not worth a lot.
Well, the Dreamcast system isn't?
No, as you get newer and newer, they get worth less and less. It's just, you got to go back more from the Dreamcast getting too recent.
So what you're saying is you're going to keep it for another 10 years and then it's going to be worth something.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe nostalgia.
So here learn from my lesson. So I had a Neo Geo Pocket Color and I loved it. It was great. And then I got rid of it. And then I got another one a few years later when they were like dirt cheap and you could import them from like Hong Kong or whatever. You'd get like a Neo Geo Pocket Color and it came with like 6 games and stuff, right? Like it was great. And then I got rid of it again. You're the worst.
I was diddling. That's my Neo Geo Pocket box. And the box to the Metal Slug and SNK fighting game.
So do a quick search and see how much your Neo Geo Pocket Colors are selling for now.
Oh, is it worth something?
Because I was like, oh man, I could really go. I think that's probably like my favorite handheld system that's ever been. And I went looking for them and I was like, holy shit. Like they are no longer the $50 on eBay with 6 games. They are like $300 on eBay with 6 games.
Well, they're not that. I'm seeing one right now for $130.
Yeah, compared to the $40 that I bought it last time, let me tell you, that is
they were not very expensive to begin with, were they?
I want to say they were like 100. They were the same price as or slightly cheaper than what was the Game Boy Advance at the time? You remember that first Game Boy Advance before they went clamshell?
Yeah.
It was like weird. The same price as that. It was like 150.
There's some here that are really expensive and some that aren't.
Yeah.
I have my box and it's mint, and I have the box to the games and they're mint as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's weird. Yeah, like some are like $300, some are like a little over 100. I guess the incomplete ones are much less. If you have the box and everything, it's worth more.
Yeah, if you have, obviously if you have the box and stuff like that.
Ooh, and I have a minty fresh box. Dayne, why you show me these things? I wonder what the games are worth.
So
anyway, we're going off on the tangent here.
Yeah, so apparently they were $70 in the US, but I know they were like 150 in Canada or something, or around $100
cool little
in
system.
Canada. I love that system. It was great. I still think to this day that it had the best joystick for any.
It does have a cool little analog stick, but it's kind of notched too, like the N64 one. It has like
but it feels so good.
It's like clicky.
Like it's short, but they managed to make it feel like a fucking joystick. Like it feel like an analog stick, like a proper one. It's like the stupid even the ones on the Switch are trash compared to it. It's crazy. Anyways, awesome little system. I mean, obviously it only had 2 buttons and like a couple bumpers and stuff, but
the Joy-Cons are hell.
The Joy-Cons are awful.
They're just like punishment. You're playing Cyber Shadow as well? I took it off the outline because I thought I left it on there, and then you put it back on.
That was me. I was like, what are you fucking doing?
Like, hey, you son of a bitch, I played that.
I mean, I don't have too much to add, but that game has got no chill, man. Like, it's fucking hard.
It gets hectic pretty fast, doesn't it?
Fast. Like, I was on like, I don't know, the 3rd or 4th level, and I was like, holy shit! Like this is already, like I'm dying a lot and replaying. Like, I will say that they do a fairly decent job of like the checkpointing isn't terrible. Like I would still maybe like it to be a little bit closer together, but it's not bad.
Yeah, there's a couple sections that it's like, okay, I really could use a checkpoint right now.
Yeah, right. There was one where I literally was like, we're talking, it was right there. I was trying to, and like a thing came out and killed. I don't know.
You're like son of a bitch.
But yeah,
actually, I haven't died in that game. What happens when you die? Do you just go back to the last checkpoint?
Yeah, you go back to the last checkpoint.
Okay. I haven't died yet, so I don't even know. I don't even know what happens when you die.
Yeah. But no, it's a great game. Highly recommend, like very Ninja Gaiden style, very good. But yeah, it's like it's hard. There's no chill. So kind of like Resident Evil 2 remake. No fucking chill in that game either.
I still gotta play that village demo thing.
I think I have it downloaded, but I have not played it.
Like, I'm kind of scared. That's why I kind of made avoiding it.
I'm debating if I want to, like, when I finish Resident Evil 2 remake, I'm debating if I want to play Resident Evil 7. It's on Game Pass.
You should. I liked 7. You should play it in VR, and then you'll fucking really shit your pants.
No,
you'll not be able to sleep.
I'm not a masochist. That's ridiculous.
The whole intro section of that game, oh my god. Because it really changes after the house at the start.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the house at the start is kind of like a little self-contained, like, I don't know, it's like a little horror movie within the game almost. I find it's much scarier.
Right.
And then the game kind of becomes a normal Resident Evil game. Like
interesting.
where like you're getting the items and doing backtracking and figuring out the puzzles, and it just feels like a total super normal like Resident Evil game. But it doesn't quite feel like that at the very start when you're in like the house there. With
how long is it?
I can't remember.
It's
a fucking blur. I barely remember anything about that game.
Yeah, because it was probably so traumatizing you blocked it out.
Yeah, my turn. It was pretty fucked up because you were dealing with the family in that house.
Right. Because it was at the beginning, right?
Yeah, but it's like the whole family, and you fight the dad a bunch of times throughout the game.
Is he kind of like a Mr. X where he's like following you around the house and you're trying to avoid him?
Absolutely he is, but he's just like a fucked up, weird, scary hillbilly psycho.
And so the hills have eyes?
And yes. Oh God, geez. Absolutely. You nailed it on the fucking head. It's so that. And then you got the grandmother who's just the grandmother's just fucking weird in her wheelchair, but like she appears everywhere. It's fucking scary, dude. It's fucked up.
You're not helping me want to play this.
You should totally play it. It's like a normal video game. It's not anxiety induced. I'm remembering now. I'm looking at pictures here, and I'm getting flashbacks of all the anxiety that game gave me. And I played like 90% of it in VR too, which was fucking stupid.
No, I can't. I can't do
Stupid.
the VR in a horror game. Like that's just ridiculous. Well, because isn't the kitchen demo like wasn't that
The
like
kitchen demo is
from...
part of the start of that game. Like that
Right.
is in the house at the start that basically introduces you to like some of the characters in the family.
Right.
Because I think that's I can't remember what they called that area, if that was the cottage, and then you go like to the main house, and that's where it kind of gets its full like Resident.
Oh shit! So you go from like the house to a mansion?
Yeah, kind of. That I would say that would be their
Wow.
version of the mansion.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
With its multiple
I
levels
did
and
not
its
realize that was kind of the setup for that.
Yeah,
game.
it's a Resident Evil Resident Evil game.
Huh? Except that it's in first person instead of
Yes, and I would say it's I hands down, that's in my opinion, it's the scariest Resident Evil game. The other Resident Evil games are video games. This is a fucking horror game and a Resident Evil game.
Right.
You should totally play it. You'll be fine. You should play it at night.
No.
We've all heard the story, but for some of you who have not heard the freaking story, like when I was playing in VR, there's a scene where you're at a kitchen table and someone like reaches out in it, and my wife was watching me play on the TV and she grabbed me when that happened.
He wet himself a little bit.
She's lucky I didn't take her head off. But like, or that I just didn't die and have a heart attack. Like, she's like,
so
sweet.
You're saying you scream like a little girl.
She's like,
rip
sweet.
The headset off.
I killed my husband. Explain that one to the police. He was playing a video game and I touched him and he died.
He had a heart attack.
They're like, woman, you're under arrest. He was playing Resident Evil. What the fuck you think you're doing? That's first degree murder.
That was clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we get into the news and stuff, Dane?
Let's get into some news.
The news. Epic Game Store is getting a lot more popular. Who'da thunk? Giving away video games every week is going to grow your user base. I don't know. That's weird.
Also doesn't help when everybody's locked at home playing video games during a pandemic.
This story is from Eurogamer by Wesleyan Poole. His byline's a little weird, but it's still nowhere near as popular as Steam. Well, no duh. Steam's been out for like fucking 20-something years.
Yeah.
Epic has released stats for the Epic Game Store, and they show impressive growth. Monthly active users rose from 32 million in 2019 when it launched to 56 million in December 2020. Epic announced.
Pretty healthy growth. That's
well, okay, and just wait.
In a year.
And yeah, that's a big jump, but the Epic Game Store still has some way to go before catching up with Steam. Earlier this month, Valve announced that it had over 120 million. I don't know, 56 million in a year compared to 120 in 20. How long Steam been around? That's pretty fucking impressive bloody growth, if you ask me.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, everyone was...
We're also talking about monthly active
users, yes.
So like they say, as you go on, there are now over 160 million Epic Game Store PC users, which is that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think their strategy is like paying off. They're making money.
Oh yeah. They spent almost $1 billion. I mean, PC players on the Epic Game Store spent over $700 million. So I mean, like that's what's crazy to me about that number. That's only PC customers, mind you. That's not console customers buying Fortnite skins and shit or
Rocket League.
That's only PC. That's PC.
I guess they only got Rocket League last year, right? Was it this year or last year? Well, maybe they did. They bought it over a year ago, and it became on PC. It moved over to Epic Game Store this summer. Is that what it was? Something like that?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Because it's not on Steam anymore, is it?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But what's wild to me is that third-party games represented 37% of that at 265 million. That's wild. So people spent $700 million on the Epic Game Store, but out of that 700 million, not even half was on third-party games. That's like Epic is raking it in. That's wild, man. That's a lot of Fortnite skins.
Yeah. A lot of Rocket League
and
skins.
V-Bucks and like, yeah.
As expected, the most popular games was Fortnite, followed by Valhalla and Borderlands 3 exclusives. Well, actually, Valhalla's not exclusive, but Borderlands 3 had a 6-month exclusivity, was it? Something like that.
Yeah, Borderlands.
Are we the first year?
I want to say had
are
a
we
year,
first year or
didn't it?
second year of? We might. It might be the second year. I said first year at the top.
I thought Borderlands 3 was a year exclusive. Maybe it was only 6 months.
When did
I don't
Epic Store
remember.
launch? It wasn't last year. Maybe this is 2 years now. I'm so confused.
Yeah, it would have launched in 2019. They would have launched Christmas 2019.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is their two. They've been out 2 years.
This is their second year. Yeah.
Okay. Still impressive numbers, nonetheless. You know, they're still missing a lot of features. They don't have achievements. They don't have a voice chat system. Like they kind of forgone all that. Whatever. Fuck. I can't speak English. You know what I mean. They just they haven't implemented that. Those are like two things that people have asked. They don't have the most glamorous friends list.
No, they have some work to do.
Yeah, you can't move your installations, as I found out.
What do you mean?
Like I installed my games. Like there's no. When I formatted my machine, I figured I could go in Epic Game Store and just like point it to where my Hitman 3 was installed.
Oh no, it's you can, but it's a little bit more involved than like the way that you do it with Steam.
Well, it shouldn't be involved. It should be like Uplay. It's like, hey, locate installed game. Click. Hey, there it is. Okay, we don't have to download 50 fucking gigs again for every game.
So, like I said, you can do it, but you have to do it.
If it ain't that easy, that feature does not exist.
Like I said, it
should just be a button.
I agree. But my point is you can still do it, but it's yes.
Look, nerd. Nobody's got time for that.
I mean, I guess it depends on how many games you've got.
Yeah. You know. Well, you know what? It's sometimes you got to start with a clean slate and clean up them hard drives and start from scratch and have unlimited data.
Nope, that's very true.
Because seriously, like I would hit my data cap installing and updating everything on, let alone one PC, 2 PCs. Like I could do it on one PC, with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
Man, Call of Duty breaks everyone's freaking data cap.
That's why I don't have that shit still installed. It's gone.
Yeah, I still got to beat Cold War before I can get rid of it.
But you still haven't beat Cold War yet?
No, because I got distracted.
Wow.
Shut
up.
That's
not even that long, dude.
If my cloud save's there, I don't have to start it over. I'm fingers crossed. I mean, so yeah, Epic Game Store is popular. They give us free games. Hey, we have a code there. Geekoholics. Use it when you're downloading your games.
I will say I do use it quite a bit. So
next story from VG247 by Stephanie Nenali. Amazon spends $500 million a year on its games division and has yet to release a hit. Whoa, yikes. Amazon has spent and continues to spend plenty of money on its gaming endeavors, but has yet to release a hit, and this may have something to do with internal struggles and mismanagement in its gaming division. Man, this seems a lot of that's going on around lately.
Oh man, I don't know. So like this originated from a report that Bloomberg did.
Was it Jason?
They talked about.
No, it wasn't Jason. It was someone else.
No, it was somebody else. It wasn't actually Jason.
Goddamn Bloomberg, your site is the worst. No, it is Jason, by Jason and Priya Anand.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he wasn't by himself though. Yeah, it was Priya Anand helped him as well. It's a good article. I highly recommend. It's a long article, but like it's essentially talking about how Amazon decided to create a game division, and then they put like completely the wrong people at the top of it, who keep changing the rules as they're trying to build games. And yeah, it's pretty wild. And the fact that they released Crucible and it was a giant flop.
Oh yeah.
And then they pulled it, and then they were going to keep working on it. Then they just decided to kill it. Yeah.
Or that like one of the main execs there had never made a video game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, let's do that. Sure, why not? Like,
Aye, aye, aye.
so yeah, right now they've got the what is it? New World is their upcoming MMO.
What are you doing? Releasing an MMO with
Look,
no
man,
experience.
well, no, like the crazy thing is that so far the people that I've talked to that have tried this, actually apparently it's quite good. I've been hearing a lot of good things about New World. It was supposed to be launched last August, but it was delayed. It's supposed to come out sometime this spring, but they have had like betas and stuff like that. And I know a bunch of people that managed to play it, and they were actually quite impressed, saying like, "Man, like this is probably the first MMO in a while that's actually kind of interesting."
This is a
But
massive
then they also
story.
have their own engine, so they have like the
Yeah,
Lumberyard engine,
Lumberyard, which is based on
essentially like
Crytek,
a
isn't it?
weird offshoot of the Crytek engine,
Yeah.
kind of. It's pretty wild.
And then they got their streaming thing that they're doing.
Yeah, now with the whole Luna, I mean, who knows? I guess with Amazon making billions of dollars every year, they can afford to spend $500,000
Well,
or
I
half a
guess you
billion
got to have
dollars.
write-offs so Jeff can keep all that money.
Yeah, exactly.
I may as well filter it somewhere.
So, yeah, it's very interesting.
I foresee this not going on much longer. I'm just going to say.
Well, I mean, the head of Amazon did just step down, and they're getting a new CEO. So we'll see.
No,
We'll see what happens.
not my Bezos bucks.
Yep.
What are we going to call him now? I guess he still owns the company, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, he hasn't technically owned the company in a long time, but
they'll always be Bezos bucks.
He was the founder or co-founder, so
maybe we should change it to his ex-wife's last name, Bucks. Do you know that? I don't know that bit of information.
I don't know.
Because she took half his bucks. Anyway,
she's the one that won out of that situation.
Didn't that like instantly make her like one of the richest women on the world?
Yep. She's like a multi-billionaire.
Like what, behind Oprah and then her?
Yeah. Exactly.
This next story is also from VG247 by Alex Calvin. Marvel's Avengers Hawkeye DLC and PS5 Xbox Series X upgrades to be shown off next month. Please say this story was from January meaning February, not February meaning March.
Technically, it did come out January 29th, yeah, so technically that could be February.
After, yes, it is February 16th. They're going to have a war table showing off some Hawkeye and some, I guess, improvements in the next-gen versions. Man, it's a good thing I got that PlayStation version for that Spider-Man. The Spider-Man exclusive. Why I bought it on PlayStation.
That game still has some pretty severe issues, even on PC. I'm amazed that game runs the way it does, even with like an insanely awesome new video card.
You went back and tried playing it some more just to see.
Yeah. It's the thing is that I like the thing with that game is the spikes. Like it's just it's not smooth at all. It's like I'll be at 150 200 frames and then all of a sudden I'll drop to 40 and
and that's like a fucking screeching brakes. Like it's noticeable.
Yeah, no, it's wild, and it's stuff like that and you're just like, what, why is this happening? All I did was turn around and look out across it's just
Hey, at least everything was still there and didn't disappear.
That's true.
Take that, Cyberpunk, you fuckers. Got him.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool if you still care about that game. I'd like to care about that game. I want to care.
Like I jumped in and I played through. I think
you did the Kate Bishop thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost finished her mission. It was a lot longer than I thought, to be honest with you. I thought I was almost done, and I think I have at least 1 or 2 left.
If I had it on PC, I'd go back, but I don't want to play the PS4 version. I want to play the next gen version. So
yeah,
I really hope that's coming sooner than later.
It's gonna be the same thing they say right here. They're gonna be able to choose between two different modes, one which prioritizes resolution, while another targets 60 FPS.
Yeah, that's what we want. Frame rate.
Yeah.
Frame rate. This next story from GamesBeat by Mike Minotti. VentureBeat, GamesBeat. VentureBeat's what, the parent company? GamesBeat's just their games. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Google stops Stadia game development and closes its studios. Bomb dropped.
I mean,
February 1st. Just a bit over a year after launching its Stadia platform, Google is starting to scale back its gaming ventures. The company is closing its 2 game development studios and canceling its projects aside from any near-term planned games, as reported by Kotaku. Google's statement can be found here. Studio is a game streaming platform launched November 19th. We know that. Started the games and entertainment division in March of that year, putting industry vet and former Assassin's Creed producer Jade Raymond in charge. Raymond is now leaving. And the closures of Montreal.
She has nothing left to do, right? Because like her whole job was to oversee all of their internal studios and the games that they were making. So like they're literally cutting her entire division, and so there's no reason for her to be there anymore.
The closures of the Montreal and Los Angeles studios will affect up to 150 developers. Google will attempt to find new roles for the impacted employees. Hey, do you guys want to work on search? Do you guys want to work on AdSense? You guys want to work on really boring dev stuff that makes us billions of dollars but isn't fun, like making video games? Wait a second. Making video games is not fun.
Yeah,
it's shitty. It sucks for everyone involved, losing their jobs now. But it's so fucking classic Google.
Reading Phil Harrison's statement from Google where he talks about focusing on Stadia's future as a platform instead of and winding down Stadia games and entertainment at like their internal studios and stuff, like it's wild because like reading his whole statement is so much like so I read his, like, before I heard anything, I essentially got a link to his statement saying like this is what happened, and I read through his statement, and it felt to me very much like we are going to continue to support the stuff that we've currently been working on, but the whole plan here, it sure feels like, is to be trying to move they're how are they going to sell this moving forward is ultimately what this feels like. You know, like this feels like he's going to try and sell this to other platforms, like whether or not that's like is this going to end up being, you know, EA like licenses the Stadia stuff
to deliver their games
on it, and they deliver like the EA stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like they want, it's like, okay, you know what, we're just going to be the background platform for everyone to deliver their games to their users, and they're going to pay us, but we're not going to do, like, it's just we got to do something to salvage all the money we spent on this, and we're going to like relicense it to other platform. It's weird.
But the thing is, to me, is this is exactly what I said was going to happen. They fucking launched Stadia. It was half baked out the door.
Yeah,
half the shit that they said was gonna be there wasn't there.
No, like
but then they seemingly, like, it never felt like they were actively fucking working on it.
No, they half-assed, yeah,
trying hard. It wasn't like every month there was like this big thing, like, oh hey, that cool feature that you expected to be there is fucking here now, and like, no, like it was like fucking months. And then it was like, oh, that one little feature that, like, I don't even know, like, to be fair, like, I don't own a Stadia controller or whatever. I don't even know if they ever got that shit to work, where, like, the Wi-Fi aspect of the controller with PC. Like, I knew that it, like, when it came out, you had to plug your controller in because the Wi-Fi aspect of it wasn't even working.
Does it even work now?
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea. But...
No exclusives of note.
Exactly what I was worried was going to happen. They pushed it out the door. expected it to be this huge hoo-ha. They expected, because we're fucking Google, there's like,
yeah, they pushed out the door with no support and fanfare,
and then we're gonna have enough money rolling in that we can go, okay, cool, we can justify moving this forward. And then that was the plan. But instead, the whole thing just went like out like a wet fart. And then instead of them like going like, okay, well, we need to double down and actually make it work and fucking put money and time and energy into this, it just felt like this thing has been slowly withering on the vine for the last year. There's been little updates here, little updates there.
Yeah.
Little things like, oh, that thing that we said we were going to do, we're finally releasing it a year and a half later. Like, it still feels like it's in fucking beta. And yet now they're like, well, after the successful launch of Cyberpunk, let's be honest, if Cyberpunk didn't sell enough copies,
it didn't move the needle,
the numbers and go, shit, guys, we got a fucking user base that is willing to use us. I suspect that they looked at the numbers for Cyberpunk and went, oh shit, if the quote unquote biggest game in the world that sells 13 million copies on day one on the rest of the platforms, if we're only seeing a small handful of those being sold on ours, we're in fucking trouble.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it just feels like exactly what I figured was going to happen. Like, no, they're not shuttering the doors yet. It's which I don't think obviously they can, because obviously like there is enough people that have purchased things on that platform and so on and so forth.
It doesn't seem far off though.
But this just feels exactly like what's going to happen. It'll continue to do this. They're either going to spin this into something that they could utilize to either license other people to use their tech, or bring other people onto their platform and utilize their tech.
But who's going to use it? Xbox has their own thing. Sony has remote play. What, maybe Nintendo? Nintendo's Japanese. They ain't going to fucking work with Google.
No idea. So, like, who knows? I mean, we will find out. I mean, like, but the whole thing just, it doesn't not feel great. This just feels exactly like what everybody said.
This is like, another nail.
It launched. It was not a great thing, and this is just another aspect of Stadia that has just felt like a misstep. It's just felt like every single thing that it seems like I don't know if this is like Phil. I don't know if this is like the manager.
I wasn't him. To be honest.
I don't know what it is, but like, holy shit, man.
I wasn't super excited about Phil's involvement from the get-go, to be honest.
But like, you bought studios, for crying out loud. Like, you brought talent in. Like, the whole thing was, you're like, we're gonna build exclusives. We are gonna build a platform.
Yeah, they did all the motions, but then they didn't follow through with them. Like, they didn't do monthly like streams or like anything to like make excitement or like build up the community. It was like randomly they did maybe 3, maybe 4 updates all of last year with nothing that was like, oh yeah, to get excited about.
They had a really lackluster like E3 showing where they were just promising everything. But it's the classic thing where they're building hype, trying to get people interested.
Building hype with
anything to offer.
Building like hype for nothing.
Yeah.
They didn't launch on the new Chromecast. They didn't come.
That's the other thing, and like
their hardware support was just bad.
Kick in the dink to these like LG and these other partners though that are like, oh yeah, we're gonna have like Stadia on our new TVs upcoming
with no new games.
Great. So like, I mean, I'm sure they're still gonna have games coming onto the platform and stuff like that, but like, what's that gonna look like moving forward now? Like, it didn't seem like they were willing to spend a lot of cash to help people get their games on Stadia.
Those partnerships should have been there at launch.
Yeah.
Like on LG and on Sony's or just on any Android fucking TV as an app you just download.
Well, or on, not even just Android, like
Shield.
LG's, like, you know what I mean? Like, they should have had an app. It should have been able to be installed. Like, it just.
Can you even get Stadia on the Shield? Like one of the most popular Android boxes in the world?
Not to my knowledge.
I think maybe you can now, but if you can now, it's been
maybe,
like
I don't know. Yeah.
It was like months and months and months and months after. Like, this is all shit that you should have had sorted at launch. It sucks for everyone laid off, and good luck getting a job in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's just like you know, and like, and of course, at the beginning of this whole, well, and the other thing too is like I feel bad for freaking Jade Raymond. Like here she went, she did her thing, then she left, you know, Ubisoft and Naughty Dog and stuff, and she ended up going and she was
Naughty
building a
Dog?
crazy cool thing.
She was
And
never
then
at Naughty Dog.
oh no, sorry, she was from Ubisoft. Ubisoft, my bad. She moves over to like work for like EA and like we're building a cool Star Wars game, and then they axe that shit from out from underneath her. So then she's gone, and like now she gets this, and like I just feel bad for her, man. Like it just seems like everybody, like I don't think that this had anything necessarily to do with her. I think this was just management above her making tons of poor decisions, and then in the end they were like, you know what, we're not gonna run our own game studios anymore, so your job is kind of redundant.
Since Watch Dogs 1, which she was executive producer on,
Yeah,
she's literally done nothing.
right.
She's had executive she's had executive positions and not released a game.
Right. But this is my point, because everything that's been happening has been like pulled out from underneath her, right? It's wild. It's shitty.
Well, I guess she joined. It says she joined Motive, but it didn't say
she joined Motive to build the stupid Star Wars game.
But she
didn't. Then got pulled out from underneath her because they canceled it because it was supposed to be like a single player Star Wars. She didn't
produce anything there.
So, anyways, can't say I'm surprised. I feel bad for all the developers that, you know, I'm sure, hey, I'm sure a bunch of them will find other jobs within Google, and I'm sure that there's going to be a whole bunch that are going to leave there and, you know, because they don't want to work on shit that's not video games.
Oh, well, she's got paychecks that would fucking make us cry. Lucky her.
Yeah.
Moving along.
So,
Embracer Group requires Aspire Media for up to $450 million. Also acquires Gearbox for $1.3 billion. Embracer subsidiary Saber Interactive. Who is Embracer? Is that?
Well, they're like the top group, because like
they're the ones that own
THQ,
right?
Sorry,
does Embracer own THQ Nordic?
I don't think so. THQ Nordic's their own thing. Embracer Group owns, like my understanding is, a parent company of a whole bunch of stuff. So like they own a bunch of like other groups underneath them, like game studios and things like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
No, you know what? You're right. They're the top level. They own THQ Nordic. They own Koch Media, which is the Deep Silver developer. They own Coffee Stain. They own Amplifier, Saber Interactive, and Decca. And so now, strangely enough, Saber Interactive is the one that actually bought Gearbox. So weird. Well, Aspire Media. This is so bizarre. So they're going to buy Aspire Media for $100 million.
That says Embracer Group, which also said they paid $1.3 billion for Gearbox.
And then they're buying Gearbox for $1.3 billion.
And then they bought a mobile game company, Easy Brain. That's some big plays, I guess. I don't know how I feel about Gearbox, but
I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, most of my issues with Gearbox stem straight from the CEO. So, I mean, I think that team and like, I think that there's probably some very talented, great people that work there. And I think that, you know, like I said, my issues seem to stem
think Gearbox is like another BioWare. All the real big talent has left.
I can't really argue that after the game that was
the disappointing game that was Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people really love that game. Like, they really, really like it. And it's so just mediocre.
You got to think, though, there's an entire generation that they've never really played the other ones. So like this is their first Borderlands game.
Yes, but it's like they didn't.
So like you and I,
they
like
didn't do anything
we've already
new.
played 2 games that were already this
2,
thing.
3, 4, 5, the pre-sequels,
yeah, that's my point though.
The
but there hadn't been
sequels,
another Borderlands game in like 10 years.
Like, I guess, but they just didn't do anything new, and it's the same dick and fart jokes, but like they're not even really funny anymore because the good voice actors are all gone.
Because you've grown up and realized that they probably aren't funny.
No, it's just they just don't have the same talent. Like the acting talent and voice actors like are all gone. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh well, good for them. These are the guys that have like what, a bajillion games coming out under THQ Nordics, or
they got. It's a weird. I don't fully understand how. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Where is Embracer Group from? Does it say in here?
I want to say I just looked them up and they were from like Sweden or something actually.
Borga.
Sweden?
That was the Swedish chef. If you didn't know, which is, yes, Stockholm, Karlstad, Sweden, Embracer Group.
They own 200 IPs, 6 operative groups. They own 57 development studios, and they have over 5,500 people working for them in over 40 countries.
Subsidiaries: THQ Nordic,
because it used to be called THQ Nordic AB.
Saber.
So then they spun THQ Nordic into their own thing, and they kept the parent company.
Saber Interactive. More. Gunfire Games? Oh, Deca.
Yep.
Yeah, they own a few here.
Like I said, Koch Media, Deep Silver, Saber Interactive.
Them Swedes getting real in the streets in the gaming industry.
Yeah, you got this happening, and then you got freaking Tencent buying pieces of every game studio
they
out there
bought a
that they
couple
can.
studios, didn't they?
Sorry?
They bought a couple studios, right? Clearly, it's like financial reporting period right now with all these stories about big bucks and everyone fucking going gangbusters.
There's a lot of that going around.
This next story from IGN by Joe Scrubbles. EA has made $3 billion from Star Wars games, and it isn't slowing down anytime soon. Just because it doesn't have an exclusive license doesn't mean EA won't be making any more Star Wars games. Speaking during yesterday's EA earnings call, as transcribed by Seeking Alpha, EA CEO Andrew Wilson was asked if the company would be changing how it develops games after seemingly losing the exclusive license to create Star Wars games. I don't think you should imagine that the fact that some of other people... What? Why does that... There's a typo in that sentence. It's really fucking me up. I don't think you should imagine that the fact that some other people will build some Star Wars games is going to change our commitment to the IP or our ability to build the appropriate number of games, replied Wilson.
I feel like it's weird because I feel like they didn't make that many. Like a couple Battlefront games, they finally made the Jedi Outcast game,
and they have another one.
Order.
They have something else coming. Squadrons.
Dude, I didn't realize though their mobile game, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, has brought in $1 billion of that on its own. They have had over 52 million sales since EA began making them.
That's crazy.
So
just goes to show that people have bad taste. I mean, what? Star Wars is amazing. Fallen Order was good. Squadrons is good. Battlefront 2 was not terrible, but they just fucked up so much around it.
The single player part of that game was so lackluster.
Yeah, but like the whole loot crate thing, like that fumble, like really didn't do them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That didn't help them out, but good on EA. They're fucking making tons of money. Surprise, the loot box company makes bajillions of dollars off of a mobile game, and loot box controversy they started with Battlefront 2.
That's wild, man.
This next story from IGN. Mass Effect Legendary Edition May release date announced. There's rumors, rumblings. It's now official. The story from IGN by Jonathan Dornbush. The release date has been
Mass Effect Legendary Edition
May 14th for PC via Origin and Steam, PS4 and Xbox One. There won't be specific next-gen versions, but they will play on both Series X and Xbox. Did they say they were going to make a souped-up version for those ones? No, I don't think they did.
They said there won't be specific next-gen versions. The Legendary Edition will be available to play on PS5 and Series X via backwards compatibility.
That's it.
They did also confirm that the Legendary Edition includes the all of the single-player content for Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3, which includes more than 40 pieces of downloadable content, including story expansions, weapons, and armor packs, and all of it will be playable in 4K Ultra HD with HDR.
Ultra HD.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, I watched these videos that they posted, and like, I don't feel like it looks that much better. Like, this is clearly a remaster and not a remake. So I mean, like, I want to just like let anybody out there thinking like, oh wow,
This ain't like your Resident Evil 2.
No, this is definitely a up-res of the existing
patch
kind
stuff,
of
sand the rough edges.
Yeah,
put a new coat of paint in the lobby.
It sounds like they're also making some changes to is it the Mako or the Mako, however you want to pronounce that.
Mako.
The Mako, and apparently they're saying that FemShep will become the default if you want in all of the available games.
Yeah, she's the default shepherd.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's cool. People are happy about that announcement. I don't know if I'm going to play them again. I liked them at the time, but
so I finished Mass Effect 1 for the first time, was it last year?
Mm-hmm.
And then I started Mass Effect 2, and I got 3 or 4 hours into it, and then there was rumors of this coming out, so then I stopped playing Mass Effect 2. Because I figure, like, well, if I'm gonna play Mass Effect 2 for the first time, I may as well wait for this version and play it, because it's, you know, it's probably at least gonna run better and stuff. Because, like, that's the thing, right? Is like trying to go back to the Mass Effect 2 now on modern hardware. It runs on the old like Unreal 3 engine, and like it's a little wonky. So I mean, assuming that they did a better job of making it run and update a few of those types of things, like this could be just a better way to play the game regardless. So
did they upgrade the sex scenes? That's the most important question.
Sorry?
Did they upgrade the sex scenes? That's the most important question.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah, that's cool. I just don't know if I'm gonna want to play it again.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, I've never played 2 and 3, so
2's really good. 3's pretty good too, as well. Like, I like them all. Like, I even like the first one, even though it was so different.
I like the first one a lot. I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, it's a good game. But it's weird because it's like it's the most RPG-ish, but it's like not even an RPG. It's like a bad RPG. But
yeah,
like they got rid of all that stuff and made them like, you know, they're basically Gears of War games.
Yeah, with like more powers and levels and stuff like that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we got a date, something to play. Yeah. This game this year, man, we don't know a lot of shit's going on this year.
Everything is getting pushed, man.
Yeah.
Which leads us into our next story.
PlayStation section of our news. Eurogamer by Wesley and Poole. PS5 exclusive. Returnal delayed to end of April. For extra polish is what they say.
This is the House Marquee's PlayStation 5 exclusive game.
Yes.
It was supposed to come out March 19th. Has been pushed to April. Doesn't sound like it's not that far. But, you know.
This game looks interesting.
I know, right?
It looks like an arcade shooter, like.
But it's like also like a. There's like. My understanding is there's kind of like roguelike elements.
It kind of looks like the
respawning and
what's that Tom Cruise movie?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's you die, rinse, repeat kind of thing.
Yeah, but like every time you die, like every time you do another run, you get like more. You know, like this is kind of my understanding. Like I don't know. There seems like a whole bunch of these like time loop games. Seem to be coming up like. You know, what was the other one? Was it Time Loop or whatever?
And
what's the other like?
There's Death Loop. There's like lots of like particles and shit too. So it kind of like it looks like the Housemarque shooters are like crazy with like particle effects and shit everywhere.
Yeah.
So kind of like you can see like their lineage in games there too.
For sure.
It looks kind of neat.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
PS5 shipped 4.5 million units in 2020. PS4 shipments top
Wild.
115 million.
Yeah.
This story from Gamatsu by our home G, Sal Romano. PlayStation 5, which first launched November 12th, 2020, shipped 4.5 million units worldwide. But you can't get one, suckers. By the end of 2020, Sony announced in its financial results for the 3 months ending December 31st, the company said it's on track to meet its forecast of 7.6 million units by March 31st, 2021. Worldwide shipments for the PS4 also reached 115 million. A total of 1.4 million PlayStation 4 units were shipped during the 3-month period ending December 31st, which is down 4.6 million from the same period the previous year, which is obviously pretty obvious. Who the fuck's buying PS4s when you got the goddamn PS5 here?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, man. If like like back in September when we managed to pre-order our PlayStation
Was
5s,
it September?
if you would have told me that back then, 3 months after launch, this thing was gonna be like like candy that people could not get, like that it was selling out in literally seconds when it went up for sale, and it was
Dude,
that demand was that
I
hard
have I
to
have
find still.
coworkers who are trying to get PS5 still, and it's so bad now that literally like even Amazon and Walmart are like they're just it's not crashing, but like the sites are unusable, or just like the amount of traffic of people trying to get systems is like insane.
So like one of the Discord groups that I think you and I are both in, like there's a
Yeah,
ton
the
of
L
people like,
Babbins video game deals.
yeah, the video game deals Discord group, and like every day there's people coming in there like, hey, is there going to be a PS5 drop today? Hey, is there going to be an Xbox Series X
Have you
drop
ever
today? Like,
read his tweets?
and it's like
The
like what was it, last earlier this week, there was it Walmart or one of these companies had a drop, and I mean I use drop loosely, but it my understanding, judging from some of the like what the people were saying, was like they were sold out in 5 minutes. Like
I'm
if you
not
were not there waiting to stick that thing in
not
your
even
cart
five
and check
minutes.
out, it was gone.
I happened to be on Amazon when they had their drop lot. Was it last week or the week before? And I was trying to buy one because one of my buddies at work has been bugging me a lot. I've
Sure.
actually have two people, one of my good friends and one of my buddies at work. I don't know who I was going to give it to. I was basically going to throw it out whoever got to me first. But I'm
Sure.
like, fuck, if I can get one, they'll be so ecstatic, right?
Totally.
And I got nothing but the stupid dogs on Amazon. And
Yeah.
it's just like, ugh.
No, it's insane. Like I thought like I figured like, oh, I'll just I'll just wait a little while. And like here we are, February, and this thing is like almost harder to get now than it was back in like November, December. Like it's insane.
Yeah, it's harder to get one now. It absolutely
Yeah,
is.
I think
It's
so.
it's
Even
ridiculous.
though they've sold 4.7 million of them
They're
already.
selling them all. They could
Wild.
sell more if they could freaking make. I don't know if they could make 20 million. I think they'd sell them all. There's other
Yeah,
stuff out of this, like their PlayStation Plus has 47.4 million subscribers, up
which is up.
8.6 million. They sold a buttload of fucking software, 103 million units. Jeez.
Wow.
In the third, PlayStation 5 and 4 software combined sold 103.7 million units in the third quarter.
That's just the
The
third
third
quarter.
quarter, holy crap, I do.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a lot of PS4 games because the install base there is fucking
Huge.
huge. But
Yep.
there's also other news that Sony is actually selling PS5s at a loss, but it doesn't matter. They've like
Yeah, the
basically
PlayStation division is making money
the
regardless.
PlayStation money has had the best like quarter. Was it quarter or just year in general period ever?
Yep.
And they sell the PS5 at a loss. Like fuck, Jesus,
Yeah.
it's fucking.
I mean, I think that that's probably also why they're making, I'm sure, less of the digital only versions of that console. It seems like it anyways, but
that they're making less because of.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if they're making less of them.
Oh, because that's the system that's costing them money versus the disc one?
Well, it's costing them money short term, right? I think long term, it's a smart bet for them because you have to buy
as
all
the
your
fab
from
gets
them.
more efficient and
Yep.
memory
But
costs
short term,
go
at
down.
least, they take a bigger loss short term, right?
I'd really like the fucking update to put in a SSD in there to fucking come out.
Yeah.
Though, to be honest,
I
haven't touched my PS5 in like a month. I should rent my PS5 out. It's only because I've been playing Valhalla on
Xbox.
Xbox. I think after I'm done with Valhalla, I'm gonna go to Demon Souls, and then I'll give the PS5 some usage.
Yeah. Apparently, we finally are getting a PlayStation 5 system update that fixes the PS4 disc installation bug. New PS5 update has finally resolved an issue that caused PlayStation 4 game discs to attempt to install the PS4 version of the game instead of the PS5 version, even if it had already been upgraded. This story from IGN by Joe Screbbles. This update just came out today. The 20.02-02.50.00. Yay.
I haven't put any PS4 discs in my system, I don't think, at all. But basically, the bug would cause the console to repeatedly attempt to install the PS4 version from the disc every time it was turned on.
Yep.
Yikes.
The issue affected cross-gen games such as Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
That would be really fucking annoying. It's like, why don't I have any hard drive space? What's going on? Man, have you put a disc in your system?
Yep.
That thing's loud.
But the thing is, well, because remember, that's how Sony sent me Ghost of Tsushima
on disc. And you bought? Yeah. Did you buy Sackboy digitally or did you get the disc?
Digital. I'm not.
It's only loud when it starts. Like when it first spins up. It's like, yep, that's this disc drive spinning the fuck up.
I don't honestly remember. Like, I don't even know if I feel like I've heard it.
No, you can
hear
it.
My PS5 has been incredibly quiet.
The system's quiet, but trust me, when the thing spins up, it's like, like.
Yeah, because it's a disc spinning up in a drive.
I don't have a drive in my PC, so it's like, oh yeah, these things can be loud when they spin up full speed.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie though. Like after playing, a game on my PC for a few hours, this is not exactly quiet either. So
no, PC is definitely not the quietest thing in the world. Even on quiet mode, I'm gonna talk about it in our fucking free for all section. Anyway, move along. Right, Reggie on Switch, he was interviewed recently. This story also from VG247 by Stephanie Nunnally. Switch was a make-or-break product for Nintendo that luckily was a hit. During a New York Gaming Awards Twitch stream, Reggie Fils-Aimé said after the poor performance of the Wii U, one of his lasting memories of being with Nintendo was to release the Switch. Yeah, no doubt. Like hitting a home run. Like,
oh, totally.
Nintendo is like just one of these companies that just like highest highs, lowest lows.
The Wii U was the worst selling platform Nintendo had ever launched, though.
But like they've had other stinkers,
like
man.
11 million units or something. Like
Virtual Boy was a fucking stinker.
13.56 million units of the Wii U. That's it. Like worldwide, that's insane. That's so low.
Yeah, it's not good. Like the Xbox, they make the Xbox look good.
Yeah.
Xbox One.
Yeah.
Switch is like doubled, I believe, Xbox numbers by now, probably.
Yeah.
They went past, and they've been out shorter. The system's just, it's a fucking hit. So we're not going to get a Pro this year. Maybe next year. Not until this shit slows down. At the rate this thing's going, it's going to pass. It might be one of the biggest selling consoles.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't realize that the Nintendo 64 only sold 32 million units.
No, 64 was not. 64 is beloved, but it wasn't a huge fucking hit either. It was like another one of these down and then up and then down. Like this Nintendo's path just. But then like when they hit it big, with the Wii, They hit it fucking big, even though the Wii wasn't a good system. The Wii was shit. Like,
here's what's interesting though. Like looking at these numbers, so the Famicom and the NES combined, they sold 61 million units. Every console after that sold significantly less up until the Wii.
Yeah.
Like the Super Famicom and the Super NES, they didn't even manage 50 million units. 49.10. And then the Nintendo 64 was only 32 million units, and the GameCube was only 21.
You got to remember, though, the gaming industry was quite a bit smaller in those eras than it is now.
But I mean, you've got the NES, which sold 61 million units. Like, that's pretty huge.
That is.
And then to have normally you would expect like the Super Nintendo to have sold more. You know, like
yeah, but the Super Nintendo actually had Super Nintendo had competition from like Genesis and
that's true.
Turbo like the NES. Like, let's be honest, the NES had no competition.
No,
like,
not
fucking
really.
Atari was a joke, and the Sega Master System was fucking an even worse joke.
Yeah, and the TurboGrafx 16, at least in like especially North America, was never really. It wasn't anything to worry about.
Well, congrats, Nintendo. Fuck, you make lots of money and you're super awesome and successful. And thank God it wasn't a flop.
Out in 100 million units, like boom, there you
go.
But
you know, like it's pretty funny. The Wii U was like the Iron Man Mark 1. Like it was, you can see the switch coming from the Wii U,
for
right?
Sure.
Like, so without a Wii U, we probably wouldn't have a Switch.
Yeah.
What was the first thing everyone said who played a Wii U? Why can't I fucking take this out of my house?
Yeah.
Why can't I take this 5 feet farther away from my fucking TV before the video signal breaks up? Like, let's be honest.
I still have a Wii U sitting on the shelf behind me.
Right there. I see it there. I don't have a Wii U. I sold that shit. Actually, I pretty much gave it away. It was fucking worthless. This next story from Eurogamer by Tom Phillips. Nintendo Switch is now outsold 3DS. Switch Lite alone, I've heard that this has outsold the Wii U from at this point now. Anyway, the latest Switch sales figures are in, and the momentum behind Nintendo's hybrid console is clear. The Switch is now 79.87 million consoles sold, enough to beat the lifetime total of the mighty and long-lived Nintendo 3DS, which recorded 75 million.
Yep.
In 3 months covering the 2020 holiday season, October to December, Switch sales were up 7% year over year, with 27% of those sales for Switch Lite. Just on its own, Switch Lite is now a few thousand sales away from beating Wii U's lifetime figure of 13.5. I've read stories elsewhere that it has passed. That's why I was saying that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's so crazy to me to think that the DS, though, is like still the number one with 150 million units sold.
That's, yeah.
They almost sold 1 billion units of software for that system. 948 million units of software for the DS.
So you've got some fun charts and numbers and stuff here comparing all the systems from Daniel Ahmad. If you don't follow him on Twitter, I highly recommend you do. Z Huge EX.
Oh, I'm looking at it straight from Nintendo.
Yeah. Oh no, they just have him embedded in this story here.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at all the numbers. Literally,
I follow him on Twitter. My Twitter feed. He just had boom.
He's awesome.
Like a Twitter thread of like all the numbers, and Nintendo is insanely on fucking fire, and that just reminds me I should probably buy Nintendo stock.
I do want to point out that one thing that I find interesting is that the Nintendo Switch has sold almost 80 million units of hardware, but it sold 532 million units of software. The 3DS, only managed 385 million units of software. So, that's a lot more software that's being sold on the Switch.
Yeah, they're making bank.
Me right there that the Switch is way more profitable from that perspective.
Nintendo's making bank. Devs are making bank.
Yeah.
This next story from Eurogamer again. Jeez, I did not get far from Eurogamer this week. I try to spread it out, but they come up in my feed first. So, canceled GoldenEye 007 Xbox Live Arcade remaster leaks online.
I may or may not have got a copy of that.
Yeah, you got it sent to you from Microsoft, right?
Maybe.
After a full playthrough was posted to YouTube. I didn't see any of this. Excuse me. How did it look? Does it look good? Does it look dumb?
I was unable to get it to
I'm not asking if you played it. Did you watch the video?
Oh, I think it looks rad as hell. I'm super like I mean, you got to remember, like, this was coming out on the 360, right? Like, this was a long time ago, but I think it looks great. Like,
wow.
I wish this would have came out. Like, that would have been awesome.
See, what I'm seeing there, as bad as it looks compared to modern games, this is what my memory of the game looks like. But then when you actually go and see the N64 version,
oh, it looks rough.
And put the fucking Vaseline over your eyes to like give you the proper approximation of how bad it looks.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, like, because the thing is like, you try to play, GoldenEye now, and it's like between the controllers and everything else, like assuming you're playing it on like an actual like Nintendo 64, like, it's garbage, like, it's so bad. So like, even having something like this available with a proper control scheme with dual analogs and stuff, like, that right there to me is worth, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, like, it bums me out knowing that they got literally they did the entire game. They finished the fucking game. You can play through the game. And yet at the last minute they couldn't all put it back in their pants and agree on a number to, to actually get this thing out the door.
Oh, God.
Like,
it looks so fucking bad.
So, but no, it's I think it's cool as hell.
It's one of those things.
I have downloaded it.
It deserves a fucking remake, like an actual remake.
Oh no, it does, but it'll never happen. I mean, Phil Spencer has publicly said, like, every time they've looked into it, the rights.
Oh yeah, the licensing is a fucking nightmare,
and it just every time they just give up, like, which is exactly what happened here, right? So
it's unfortunate because that game holds such a huge nostalgic spot in so many gamers' hearts.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, there was that weird remake on the Wii that got like but they ripped out, like, but it was different though, because you were playing as Daniel Craig, you weren't playing as Pierce Brosnan. Like, they made a bunch of changes like that and stuff because of like the people, Eon Productions, the people that own James Bond, like, their whole thing is like, whoever the James Bond is right now, that's the only James Bond. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to any of their properties and stuff like that. So, like, yeah. I'm gonna try and see if I can get it running. I've downloaded it. Like, it seems like for some people with the right setup, it is pretty much just like, it just works and it's pretty much flawless. You just use the emulator and it goes. I haven't been able to. Like, for me, I load it up, I get into the menus, the music and everything. I'm like, yeah. And then when I click to start a game, all I get is a black, like, I don't get any video. It's all I hear is the sounds, but I don't see anything.
I think we're going to need a new IT guy.
So,
Dayne.
I've spent literally 15 minutes with him.
I know. I'm just breaking it. I have no desire to play it. It's cool. It's neat. It's too bad they couldn't release it.
I think it's neat because you can turn it on and off. Like, you can go to the, like, you can flip it back and forth between the original and the remake, right?
Yeah, he was doing it in the video. I was watching a video while you were talking.
And I think that's cool. So
it's like the Halo thing.
It's a shame. Yeah.
I thought the freaking chat was broken on Twitch. Sorry.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that I would want to, like, literally play through the whole game either, but it'd still be fun to, dive back into it and play it a little bit more of how my brain remembers it versus like how it actually is.
Yeah. My brain in my brain, that game looks so much better.
Sure.
But then totally. I see those videos and I'm like, holy fuck, that was trash.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. My brain is broken because I was like looking at Twitch chat and like I thought it was frozen again because no one posted there for a while. I'm like, I guess it's dead, or no one cares to say anything. Yeah. Where are we?
Think your video is frozen. So
Oh.
Yeah.
You guys can't. Good thing, because I stood up and whipped my penis out. So it's a good thing the video's frozen. I don't know why it's doing that. That's a new bug for today. At least it's not fucking up the stream. It's just a start and stop the camera.
Yeah. There you go. So
I'm back.
So anyways, like I said, I'll maybe have some more to talk about on that if I can actually get it working or not. We'll see. So
that brings us to our public service announcements. Epic Game Store freebie this week is For the King. If you're watching this live, it's your last chance to download Dandara Trials of Fear Edition, which looks actually really cool, like cool Castlevania-esque kind of game, Metroidvania-esque.
Yeah.
It looks has For the King been free here before, or has it been on one of the other monthly services for free? I feel like I've seen this fucking game somewhere before.
I don't know. I own it already, so
yeah,
I know it's been added to my account when it came out. So
I feel like it was a free game.
It's like a turn-based tactical RPG kind of game.
Yeah, cool. So pick that up if you're listening to the podcast. You can get it now. And that's it for public service announcements, which brings us to our free-for-all section. Are you ready to free-for-all? Dayne?
What?
This is a special free-for-all section. It's Dayne's IT Tech Tip Corner.
Oh, boy.
I have a bunch of dumb questions for you.
All right.
I think I figured them out, but I want to know if I did this right.
All right. What do you got?
When it comes... I'm kind of like... my OCD makes me do weird things.
It does.
And I don't install...
I don't 32 gigs of RAM so that you don't have 2 empty RAM slots on your motherboard.
did get my extra 32 gigs of RAM. The computer looks so much better now.
Oh, God, you're an idiot.
So now I have questions about like fan management software and CPU speeds and weird stuff. Because like I'm not one to really go and install a lot of extra crap.
Sure.
But it's like... Basically, I guess it's your motherboard comes with a suite of apps to control that shit, right?
I mean, there's a variety of ways you can
set it in the BIOS, set it and forget it, right?
You can set it so like your motherboard is going to have like fan controller software.
Yeah, the Asus has a whole suite, which is like overclocking everything, like a video card section, a CPU section, there's a fan section and all this stuff. So that's it, right? Like just you get it from the manufacturer. That's the right way and the way you do it, right?
To be honest, like you can do it that way. You can also, if you want, you could do it via your, depending on like for me, I actually use my CPU, my cooler, like my NZXT. They have a management software called NZXT Cam, so I actually just use that because I like to run it because I like the way that it handles the fans and the pump and stuff like that.
But that's just your CPU, cooler. Right?
No, I can use it to also like do the rest of the fans and stuff in my system if I wanted. To be honest, like I don't really give a shit about the rest of the fans in my system. Like they're gonna do their thing. Like they're in no means spinning up or down.
Do you like that software?
I mean, I own one of their all-in-one coolers.
Yeah, like I have the Gigabyte. I have the Gigabyte software on my PC, and I find it's fucking terrible.
Yeah,
like it's ugly. It's not very nicely designed. Like it does the job, like quiet or balanced or performance. Like has the little tabs.
So I run all of my case fans at just a static. Like I just let them run. They just run their regular speed.
Yeah.
They're not going up and down, and like I don't like no. Just give me a static speed that gives me decent pressure. That's what I need. The only fans that spin up or down are the ones that are attached to my video card and the ones that are attached to my CPU.
Yeah.
So for those are all set up on like temperature based, right? So when I hit certain temperature thresholds, the fans will spin up on my CPU and same on the video card.
So for the most part, is that automatic unless you want to make like specific alterations?
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I said, I just run the NZXT Cam software and it's got the silent or it's got performance or whatever. I honestly find like at the end of the day, as long as your shit is like not throttling and as long as it's, not obviously on fire, then let it do its thing.
So
and I don't know.
That brings me, because I was playing with that stuff, and then it brings me to another question. Like, sorry everyone if this is nerdy and technical. It shouldn't last too much longer. So that brought me to the attention of the CPU speed stuff.
Sure.
So for the most part, is your CPU, when it's not really doing anything, just running in the lower range of its speed, as opposed to, like, my CPU is what, a 3.9 with a boost up to 4.9 or whatever it is? Like, does it bounce around, or is it just when you're doing nothing, it stays at, like, you're sitting on Windows desktop, so it's like, oh, we're just going to be doing 3.8 right now?
If you pull up your task manager on your computer, you can literally watch your CPU speed jump all over the place.
Yeah, it seems like the CPU speed on my machine upstairs just seems to be pretty static.
Yeah. So like the thing is that there's a few different things that you can adjust. Like there's a couple BIOS settings that you can adjust. But that said, like if at idle and stuff, like if so you also have to remember that just because your CPU is saying a specific speed, like I'm looking at mine right now and it says like 4.04 gigahertz.
Yeah, that's what mine kind of seems to sit at all the time. Well,
so the thing is though, is that that's not, you got to remember you have like lots of cores, right? So that could be measuring just one core.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that all of your cores are sitting at 4.3 gigahertz right now, right? And so that's the thing, is like those, you could have two cores that are running at high speeds and the rest of your cores could be essentially not doing anything.
So if you're playing a game, it should be going as fast as it should possibly stably, right?
So like, dude, it's like, it's one of those things, right? Like you could, if you were super OCD and you have all the money in the world to spend on an insane cooler and you don't care about what your computer sounds like, you could do an all core overclock and have everything run at one speed all the time, which I totally don't recommend because it's hard on the CPU. It's hot, it's loud, it's just not great. I find that especially with the new CPUs nowadays, with the way that they throttle and stuff, it's all based on power and thermal headroom. So like your CPU will turbo under like single thread, like one or two threads. It'll throttle to like almost 5 gigahertz if it needs to, right? Like if there's something that it's only doing and it's only pushing, which the thing is a lot of games are like single threaded. Like, so a lot of your single threaded performance is like really important. Like, so they may only do like one or two threads.
But so that's where my question really kind of is this all happening automatic, or do you need to do something or have a setting somewhere? No, it's all
happening automatically.
So there's no setting, like if you have a setting wrong, you're not going to be getting the best performance you should?
I mean, like I said, unless you're going into the BIOS and you're specifically like turning off shit, generally speaking, like your stuff is gonna,
the CPU,
like right here while I'm doing what I'm doing.
Like right I had to set the memory timing, not the memory timings, but the memory profile.
Yep.
Because by default, it wasn't going as fast as it should. So like, I'm just wondering, is there something like that for CPU?
The reason your memory is like that is because it's different. So technically, memory has what's called JEDEC specs, and so JEDEC is the body that everybody is a member of that gets to build memory, and like they're the ones that set the spec for speed and timings and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
So like the highest JEDEC spec that is technically quote unquote allowed is 3200, and that's very recent. That just came out like last year. They okayed that speed.
Yeah.
Before that it was actually 29 something, and like most of the time before that it was actually 2600. So like the thing is that a lot of times when you're buying 3600, 3800, 30, like even back when I built my system, 3200 RAM, it's out of JEDEC spec. So the thing is that what you're doing is that you're buying RAM that's actually like, if you put it in your system, it's probably like running at like 2600 megahertz or whatever it is, 2666.
Yeah, right? I think it defaulted pretty low.
Yeah. And like that's because that was the JEDEC spec. So when you go into your system and you tell it, okay, I'm going to use what's called an XMP profile, or I'm going to use whatever the fuck your motherboard calls it.
Yeah.
Because technically XMP is an Intel spec, but it's extended memory profile. That's what that stands for.
Yeah.
And that's essentially telling your mother, it's an easy way for you and I to go in and
Oh
overclock
yeah,
our
because I
RAM.
was in expert mode before, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you just do this thing, and I'm like, dude, there's like a million fields to fill in, and
Yeah.
I don't know what all of them fucking are. This is not
Yeah.
easy.
It's frustrating because like it can even change from motherboard manufacturer to motherboard manufacturer. Like Gigabyte might call it something different than,
Yeah, they all have
like,
their
I'm
stupid
lucky
fucking marketing terms.
because for me it's literally called fucking XMP profile in my BIOS. I
Yeah,
just
like,
set that and it's right there. But that's why you have to do that, is because
yeah,
technically it's actually an overclocked profile versus what's in spec.
yeah,
Whereas like your CPU is not like
and
that.
it's
Your
all it's
CPU is
pretty much
it's
automatic.
yeah.
Okay, so my CPU is gonna go the speed it wants to go when it needs to.
Yep.
So I couldn't
I
really.
mean, the best way, like, this is why I always say, like, when I build a new system or whatever, I always just run some benchmarks, and it's gonna give me a
What do
pretty
you
good
run
indicator.
benchmarks with?
There's a few different programs that you can use, like different ones for CPU benchmarks, different ones for GPU benchmarks. But the thing that I always look at is like, as long as you're within, like what I'll do is I'll go to some trusted reviews that I trust. Like, so for me, I'll use somebody like Guru 3D as a like baseline, and so I'll look at what they're getting with a similar system to mine,
Yeah.
or
So what app
or
do you
whatever.
use?
I'll use like 3D Mark for testing like GPUs, and I mean, hell, you can even test, like, just pull up your like Assassin's Creed Valhalla has a built-in benchmark.
I've done
Like,
those benchmarks. I was just wondering if there's
yep.
different ones. Okay, well that's neat.
Oh
Okay,
no,
I'm learned.
there's other ones that you can do,
I
but
get it.
like I said, I always go,
Because I formatted my Windows, right? Because I didn't do my original Windows install when the machine was built in October, but with all the shit that I changed, I did it recently, and it's like, okay, do I have everything I should have in here? Like, do I the BIOS or the motherboard driver stuff, the chipset drive, like, you know what I mean?
yep.
So anyway, it's all up and running. It's good, and I just wanted to make sure But man, Fortnite for some reason, like I've set my profile, like my fan profile on my machine to be silent because I want it quiet. Like,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason, when you launch Fortnite, it's like, nah, man, we're all going full bore.
Are you sure it's not like your all-in-one, like your all-in-one like CPU fans that are spooling up?
I feel like it's all of them.
Because like I bet you any money it's probably just because you have 3 fans on your CPU cooler, right?
Yeah.
If those 3 turn on and they actually spin up to a proper temperature,
yeah,
they will make noise. Because my system's the same way. When I kick into a game, like, my system's pretty quiet most of the time.
yeah.
But when I kick into a game and it's pushing my CPU and like it's trying to keep those temperatures, because you got to remember, you're going from a 6-core CPU to a 16-core CPU. One of them is going to run a hell of a lot hotter than the other one is. So to try and keep the temperatures on that 16-core CPU down, you have to dissipate more heat, right?
But it's weird because I'll play Destiny 2 and it stays like still.
It's probably not nearly as CPU intensive.
The game itself.
Yep.
Is Fortnite CPU intensive?
Yep.
Really?
It's got to keep track of all the players, 2, all the shit that they're building. Like, it's surprisingly CPU intensive.
Huh.
And it's probably also programmed more to take advantage of more cores.
It's funny because
whereas Destiny only takes like 4 cores.
You guys were making fun of me, or you were making fun of me for turning off ray tracing because on more than one instance I would come around a corner. It's like, oh, it's just my reflection. Fuck. So I actually had to turn it off. And
it's also a pretty huge hit depending on which setting it was set on.
Yeah.
Fortnite, you can crank Fortnite all the way
up. Oh yeah,
and
Fortnite with everything on.
Holy shit.
Fortnite with everything on, like even some of the stupid features that you don't really need on. Like, I'm like, 70 FPS? Are you serious? Like, really? Like,
oh yeah. Dude, I've seen benchmarks, and if you turn like everything on, like path tracing and like global illumination and the whole 9, you're talking like for a system like yours, like 30, 40 frames a second.
It really fucking tanks it.
Oh yeah.
But it's like shit like you don't need.
No.
I
think it's all in there as a, like, if you want, it's there, like, so.
Yeah. I don't know. So of course the new thing is I noticed some fucking coil whine, which I really didn't notice before when I was, because I changed it. I didn't notice it when I was like frame limiting, but like I just been it's Fortnite specifically. Like I don't know why. NVIDIA control panel, the GeForce Experience wants me to run it unlimited frames. They're like, no,
Sure,
man, you want
for
this
the
unlimited
best
frames. You want this. This is the best way to play it. I'm like, okay,
Sure.
yeah, you know what? It does play really good. Because before I used to cap it, I think I capped it at
the same rate that your monitor is.
Well, no, that's the thing. There is no 100. It goes from 60 to
120.
120.
Okay.
So I had it capped at 60.
Oh yeah, no, that's like your GPU is just gonna be like cruising along at like
I know
40% or something.
But like
that.
so then when I change this, it's like,
yeah,
wow, what's that fucking noise? Like I'm like, what is that? What's that? What the fuck? I have no moving parts of my computer by the fans, and that's not a fan noise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm like, I heard people complaining about coil whine on like on Babin's fucking forum and elsewhere, and I'm like, I don't have that problem. I've never heard
Surprise.
that. And then it's like, oh, motherfucker.
If you look up, I mean, when you look into coil whine, it's the more power you push through something.
That's basically when you're trying to run everything at the fucking highest frame rate, and the card's just like fucking floored. Anyway,
it's got to do with capacitors.
One of the guys was saying
moving through them and so on. And
one of the guys
forth,
was saying, he's like, this is not a problem. He's like, it just is what it is. He's like, there is if it really drives you nuts, they said basically you can go into the BIOS and you can undervolt your card.
Yeah,
and apparently that makes
less power through it.
Apparently that makes it go away if it drives you nuts. I can't hear it once. Actually, it goes away after a little while.
Your card as well, right?
It goes away after a while. It's like just when the game first launches for a little bit, and then I guess it settles in or something.
Interesting.
But I only notice it if I'm not wearing my headphones. So like it's not like really the fans are still louder. Yeah. But I was like, am I going crazy? Am I going crazy? Like I hear something, you know what I mean? You got to lean in.
Heard
like
coil whine before, yeah.
I've heard it before, but I haven't heard it in a long time, and I forgot.
Yeah,
and I haven't heard it in this computer, even with the 3080 and the new processor, until, of course, I go to unlimited frame rate, and I'm like, 300 frames.
Push that card, baby.
300 frames with epic settings and all that shit going on. Like it's like, okay, this thing's fucking working. Which I don't know which I like better, if I like it unlimited or if I like it capped. I wish they had it capped at 100. They don't have just an option to choose, because if I could choose, I would just cap it at 100. But
why?
Well, just because the G-Sync, and that's the hertz of the monitor. But like, I don't know. That's the thing.
It's so like you're running so fast at that point. Like you're not gonna notice. Like G-Sync is generally for like you want the frames to be like.
Well, that's what I figured it out. Like running it at unlimited, like I don't notice the tearing or anything.
No,
like
you wouldn't have it because it's running much faster, right? So yeah.
Anyway, it's just like, so do I need like what? Like you don't use V-Sync because that makes it go to your monitor's resolution. And it's like, oh, I guess it's just unlimited. And, it's super smooth.
Yep.
Makes me want a faster monitor, too. But I don't know. Because that's the thing. It's so weird. Like, because so many of these PCs now run at higher frame rates than the monitors that even the fastest monitors, right? The fastest monitors are much smaller.
Until you start going up to, like, 4K, right? That's the thing.
It drops right back down again.
Well, no, it's like you can't run, like, just because your monitor can do 144 hertz at 4K, like how many fucking games are running at 144 hertz like in
nothing,
4K?
Nothing.
Exactly. So like, well, I mean, like there's a few.
You're lucky if you get 120.
I'm sure there's a few games out there that manage, like Counter-Strike and
well, that's what I mean. Games. But like, and those super high refresh rate monitors though are not 4K. They're not even 1440p.
They're not made for that. They're made for esports at fucking 360 hertz for
1080p.
some 18-year-old kid with, reflexes like Thor to be able to, because what they're doing is they're trying to take every single spot of any sort of latency out of the equation, right? But like, are you and I gonna be able to know? Like, no.
Yeah. Fuck, I really miss playing Fortnite with everybody. I haven't won since we haven't played together.
Well, this weekend's coming up fast.
I've come in second, and I've had some good... Like, I had a fucking killer game with my niece and nephew where I got like 14 kills. I don't know what the hell. I don't know how that happened, but they were like... My nephew's like, you have gotten really good. I'm like, it's not consistent, my friend. It's not consistent at all.
No. It all depends on the game you're in.
It's just so fucking random.
Yeah.
Me, Truntus, and Teacup played some late night Saturday, but oh god.
You managed to get Teacup to play?
Yeah. Well, he's playing on the new PC. It was great. He hates the fucking game. But it's like man, Saturday night Fortnite players, that's some fucking sweaty competition, I must say.
Yeah, because I
was going to talk about our IT corner went really long, and I was going to talk about my game hunting, but I don't want to go on much longer, so I'll save it for next week.
Sounds good.
But I will share this. I did get my Pokemon Ruby. So 2 down out of...
There you go.
I'm not going to get all... I shared a picture on the Discord, so if you want some reference... I'll make the story real quick. It ties in with the Dreamcast. Digging through the basement, finding boxes of stuff. I found a box with a bunch of like old video game boxes in mint, like super crispy mint. Like these are fucking mint boxes.
Right.
Sharp corners, perfect shape. Manuals, perfect shape. But I have none of the games. So at some point in my teenage years or like, late 20s or mid 20s, I don't need fucking Game Boy games. I need to buy the newest PS3 shit. Take it all, EB games for 50 cents a piece. I don't care.
Right.
I got rid of them at some point, but I obviously got rid of them without the boxes because obviously I hid the fucking boxes on myself in a box, in a box, in a box. So I found all these crispy boxes. Speaking of which, fucking cheeks. Fucking guy. I sold him a Zelda box years ago, like a mint, I think it was Ocarina of Time box. I can't remember. I sold a few N64 boxes online, and I'm like, these fucking idiots buying boxes for $60. What a bunch of dumb fucks. Meanwhile,
now you're realizing if you had a box, it would be worth like 10.
Meanwhile, if I just went and bought the shitty loose cartridge and put it in the box, it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 times the value. And I'm like, God damn it, I have the harder part to keep in good condition compared to the stupid cartridge.
Yeah.
So hence why I've turned into like hunting down these Game Boy games because like they're like worth 4, 5, 6, 7 times the cost of buying the cartridge in the box.
That's insane. I don't understand.
Yeah, so I got Minish Cap yesterday and I got Ruby today. And I'm going to try and hunt down the Castlevania ones. I'm not going to hunt down the other ones because the other ones aren't really worth that much, but I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't need the fucking money. It's just kind of like a little fun hunt going to the used video game stars, bugging people on Facebook Marketplace. I was like really yesterday, like, man, I should have like videotaped this little fucking adventure I went on. It was kind of fun. Would have made like a weird YouTube episode. Excuse me. With that being said, Dayne,
that's the show.
That's it. Episode 291 in the gigabits in your ear holes. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening, everyone. You can follow me on Twitter at Rick F RIC F no K. I fucked it up. At Rick F no K RICF.
There you go. I'm on Twitter at Dayne Cody at DAYNECODY.
I still hate my Twitter handle. Fuck, I wish I had something cool. That's easy. Well, no, if you get on Discord, you can yell at us pretty easily, but Twitter's pretty easy too.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you can like, follow, subscribe, yada, yada. We're Geekoholics everywhere, all the social media platforms. Twitch.tv/Geekoholics. Excuse me, where you can catch a show live every Wednesday, 8:30 Pacific time, plus or minus. Of course, you can support the show by subscribing to us on Twitch. If you've got Amazon Prime, the fast delivery on your packages, you get Twitch Amazon Gaming, which gives you, it used to be Twitch Prime, sorry.
It did, yeah.
You got Amazon Gaming, which gives you a free sub every month. You can give it to us or you can give it to someone else. It doesn't auto-renew. Just remember to use it. Give us those Bezos bucks because he doesn't need them. And we appreciate it. And, of course, you can support us with our Epic Games creator code on the Epic Games Store or with Rocket League DLC and Fortnite DLC purchases, Geekoholics. And if you don't mind reviewing the show on Apple Podcasts or the podcast app, that would be appreciated as well. We don't ask for much except for the last 50 things I just asked you to do. But none of them cost you money.
That's true.
Well, I guess they do if you've wasted, but you're going to waste that money on Rocket League and Fortnite shit anyway. So may as well help us at the same time. I think that's it, Dane. And join the Discord server, Geekoholics.com/Discord. Now that's it.
Okay.
Now we got it. Now we're done. Until next week, I'm going to say we are out.
Later.
Peace, everyone.